Hey guys, I'm back to do, we're gonna applique the wall hanging now, the snuggly sweater and wall hanging. And so the first thing I did was, on my machine, I have an Everstone 30S. It comes with all these different types of stitches. So I looked at the card and I picked out some ones that I liked. And I think I'm gonna go with number 36 and number 19. And I practiced them on my machine to see which ones I liked in the different sizes, because you set the sizes on here on your machine also. And it tells you what foot you're to use. You'll have to look at your manual on your foot. But when you pick your mode and you pick what design you want off of your card, it tells you foot A or foot T or whatever foot that you like. So I think that I'm going to do, I like 19 and 36. And 19 is foot T and 36 is foot T. So they're both foot T. And that, I believe, that's the foot I have on there. So now the next thing to decide is, what color do I want to put? Do I want to use the same color around here? Do I want to use different colors around here? What color do I want? So I think, okay, so what I decided was, looking at all of them, if I used red, that's not going to match on the pink and the blue donuts. So I decided to use just white, because then I don't have to keep changing everything out. Or I could do this silver. The silver is what I used on this to dry it out. Decisions. I'm gonna go with white. We're gonna do the whites. I'm gonna change out my thread real quick. Okay, now that I've got my thread changed out, I'm gonna do a quick practice run to make sure everything looks okay. So on 36, and what I did was I wrote down my numbers of what they were, and I wrote down the measurements or the machine settings that, for like example 36, I want 4 and I want 2. So that's the setting I want, and it's foot T. So let me just test that out over here. And I just wrote them down with a pen, an ink pen, whatever. You don't have to get fancy with it. Okay, that looks good, just like I like it. And now I'm just going to start on Santa Claus. I had to move so I had it in the middle line, but when I do that applique, it moves over past the middle line, and I don't want to overpass the middle line. So I am instead moving the sweater, the edge of the sweater over, so it does more on the sweater instead of on the sweater and in the background. Does that make sense? So say this is the edge of the sweater. When I put that middle line on the edge of the sweater, it did over here and over here. Well, she can't get it now. It fell behind the bed. Oh, she got it. So it put it over here and over here. I want it more on here, not so much over here. So I moved, instead of the middle line being here, I've got the middle line a little over here, so it'll just do on the fabric. And I have a little spot I think I can watch on my foot to line it up. And you can just do a zigzag, and maybe kind of looks like the design down the arm of the sweater is what it kind of looks like. But we'll keep going. I'll see. Maybe I'll like it. And you can make, if you don't feel comfortable doing this quite yet, you can always cut you out a practice sweater and put it on a piece of fabric, and you know, practice with your machine. You just practice with your machine if you've never done the applique before, and see how your machine does. The more you do it, the better you get. So don't worry if it's not perfect, because really nobody's gonna know but you. Well, on this design everybody might know. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's okay. I got a little pit bull down here. This pit bull Poppy. Lord. Okay. But this will definitely cover all your raw edges. And two, another trick to do is, if you're not familiar with it and you don't want your stitching to stand out, just pick like a zigzag stitch, pick the color, the most prominent color of the sweater, and blend it in. Just blend it in, and then you're not gonna see how bad, you know, if your stitching's not perfect, you're not gonna see it if you blend it in and you use like a zigzag stitch. You can literally just do a straight stitch and just stitch all around it if you don't have any designs on your machine with the different stitches. Just take it and do a straight line, do it the color if you want, and that it holds it down. I don't think this is going to go in the washing machine a lot anyway, so it's not going to matter. This is by far perfect. I think the best thing I ever heard was Natalie on Missouri Star saying you have to learn to be bad at something before you can be great at something. And let me tell you, that little saying changed my life, because I can tend to be a perfectionist. I mean, you can't tell, but on some things, some quilts, I want it exact and perfect, and it will make you almost give up. In your head, you're like, I can't do this, because you feel like, why am I even trying? I can't do this. But don't. Just learn not to be perfect and learn how to be bad at it. And the more you do it, the better you'll get. And nobody else sees it like you do. Everybody else is just amazed that you did something. So, oh my gosh, she did something. So, like, totally, another person I used to watch was Darlene Michaud, but she's in Mississippi and I'm in Mississippi. Hey, Darlene. Hey. But, I was watching people that had to be perfect. And I was watching people that had to, oh, it's got to be this. It's got to be pressed like this. Your stitches have to be exact. And my way of thinking, I literally was like, I can't do this. I was driving myself crazy. Like, driving myself crazy because I felt like there's no way. And I watched Darlene and I watched her cussing and I loved it. And she got me realizing you don't have to do it perfect. Just the fact that you're doing something, that's perfect. So don't ever feel down on yourself when you're first learning something. Because my mama was a perfectionist. And I was taught you do it right or you don't do it at all. Boy, that's stuck in there. If you can't do it right, don't do it. So if you're learning something, don't think that way. You cannot be perfect the first time. You can't. I mean, beginner's luck, you can. And some people can pick something up and go right with it. But the rest of us can't. Maybe can, but no. Hi, this kind of gives my sweater some embellishment. Because we embroidering our little sweater. Okay, so I'm back to where I was. I'm going to just back stitch and cut it off. And, like I said, this is by no means perfect. And I'm going to be okay with that. So, let me show you what it looks like up close, if you can see it. It looks like he's got little designs all over his sweater. Isn't that cute? I almost want to do it a little bit more. But that's not no way perfect. And I started over here. I think that's where I started. No. Over here I started, which was good in the white because it's way over. And then I straightened it back out and we got a little better. So the more I did it, the better it got. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do all my little ones. And like I said, I chose white because red I don't feel like it's going to match that. Red's not going to match that, and I'm not changing this thread every time. So I'm only going to change the stitches maybe a couple times, and I've got it written down, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I did the ones that I wanted to do, and I did the lighter ones and the more busier ones because I'm not great at this stitch yet, so I kind of wanted them to be able to blend in. So this one's busier, so that one's lighter, and like I said, so not perfect, but they look super cute. And now I'm gonna switch my stitches. Make sure that your needle's down. Make sure your needle's down when you stop to turn your fabric. When you make sure that needle's down so it holds your place when you turn, and then you continue on. But make sure your needle's down. Okay, I'm going to do my next stitch and I'll be right back. Also, when you start off on a straight line. It's easier when you come back around to just blend it in and back stitch. So just always start off on a straight line. So I'm getting better. That is a stars one. That's super cute. And what I'm learning is the middle of the foot. Let me show you. So the middle of the foot, this is what I was talking about right here. that middle of that foot. So this is just me figuring this out, because you know, I'm not perfect at applique, but your needle's going back and forth like this. So if you can watch where, if you can look on your fabric and figure out how far it's going over, and you put that foot in the middle of how far it's going over. So it's going over here and here. So you want this to go in the middle of that. So that way it's gonna cover up both where you want it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right, so I'm done. And I have to say, this one was the hardest, because it goes out and you have to figure out where that loop's gonna hit. This one was pretty okay. I think the stars was the easiest, but these loops, oh my Lord. And plus I wasn't going slow. I was just trying to hurry. I like that one. And I like the stars. The stars are cute. So, good luck. Remember, keep your needle down. Remember to put your presser foot down. So now we will go and quilt it up. Okay, so this is what I decided to go with the quilt it. All I did was lay out a piece of fabric, and I chose this for the backing. This is going to be my backing. So I laid out this fabric. I put the top about 2 inches from the top, about 2 inches from the side, and I just took the ruler and did 2 inches out and cut about 2 inches around. I didn't measure anything. I just put it 2 inches up to the top, so I didn't have any. I try to save my fabric as best I can. So I put it up to the top corner, pulled it about 2 inches down from the top of the fabric, laid it there about 2 inches from the side, pulled it up, cut 2 inches from here and cut 2 inches from there. I might have straightened this edge out a little bit, but all I had to cut really was that. So now this is a very good time if you have scrap batting and you don't know what to do with it. You can take your scrap batting and stuff it in pillows. You can use your scrap batting for some of this. So I've got some strips here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it to this sewing machine, and they're not great, but they're about the same consistency. I'm looking for the same consistency. These don't have to be perfect. I'm going to take them to the sewing machine, and I'm going to zigzag stitch them together, and that's going to give me one piece. So don't throw away your scrap batting. You got to always use it. Okay, so when you are putting your strips together, make sure, try to, you know, cut them flat, so all you're doing is taking it and putting them together like this, and then the zigzag stitch is going to go over each one. This is not like when you're putting your pieces together. You're laying it flat like this, you're putting them together, and then the zigzag is what holds them together. This is not wrong sides together. So I got this pretty crappy piece of batting, and I'm going to, I don't care if it's over, I don't care about nothing like that. I don't care it's got holes in it. It doesn't matter. It's a wall hanging. I don't like this, but we're gonna use it. It'll be fun. Since this is so small, I'm just gonna barely spray it. All this is June Taylor's quilting spray. I'm gonna make sure everything's. This is a temporary basting spray, so I'm gonna just lay this here for any overspray. I just don't want the overspray on there. I'm not gonna spray that much. I'm just like gonna barely spray it. This is not a big quilt. This stuff is old, but it's sticky. Old is okay as long as it's sticky. And it's temporary. It's supposed to wash out. Temporary and repositionable. Barely sprayed any. It's just to hold it temporarily. No big deal. You just pat it down. See? It's holding. Perfect. I do need to see where my thing is. Okay. So now we're going to put our new applique top, making sure we have enough over on each side. That loop-de-loop was hard. I thought it would be so cute with the loops, but that's a hard one. I don't know why it was so hard to me, but it was. All right. Now, I'm gonna just tell you, open a window if you feel uncomfortable with the fumes. I'm okay. I'm barely spraying this. Like, I'm literally barely spraying it. All I'm trying to do is temporarily hold it down. But if you feel uncomfortable spraying this spray, just go ahead and open a window. I have a fan going in here. Because you know, us older ladies get a little warm. So we got to have some ventilation. And Poppy, my dogs are not in here. They're with their daddy playing a game. So don't worry about the puppies. It will be okay. I literally can't even, I probably got COVID. I can't smell it. Okay. All right, now it's time to go. Oh, and in this the cutest, I got it out of the sew sampler box in one of our fat quarter bundles, and I'm gonna use this as the binding. So I'm over on my fabric and I could even cut some of this because it's too much. I'm just trimming it up a little bit. That's going to be less bulk under the machine. That's all I'm doing. I'm not using the back end for a binding or anything. I want less bulk under my machine because I'm not taking it to my brother. I'm going to quilt it with my little machine. And this can be your practice quilt. Okay, we just made a quilt sandwich. Woohoo! Let's go quilt it up. Okay, so we have to set up our machine to free motion quilt. And this is just a cosmetic brush. I think it's a pack for $1. And when I first got this machine, I wanted to throw it out the window because I didn't understand tension. It was an upgrade for me at the time. It's not my biggest machine. I have a Brother PQ 1500 something SL whatever, which is just a straight stitch. But I didn't understand tension. So when I first went to set this up to free motion quilt, I thought I was going to throw the machine out the window. The freaking window was going out. I couldn't take it. So I called the company I called the quilt shop from where I bought it from, and he told me on this machine you have to go kind of high. So I have a little book that I keep notes in. Like when I do a pattern to go back and forth, it's just a little plain notebook, that's all. But when I do a pattern and I'm switching back and forth, I keep little notes in it so that way I know what I'm doing when I go back. And it says on here, I wrote my tension down that for free motion it should be 4, but I'm feeling like that, I'm not sure because right now it's on a 5. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to have to set up my tension, and I'm going to have to throw Poppy's toy. So we've got to take all this off for free motion. I'm making sure I have an extra bobbin. So I took off my regular foot, and now I'm gonna have to also put my feed dogs down. If I haven't quilted on this thing in so long, I might have forgot where they are. Drop your feed dogs on your machine. If you cannot drop your feed dogs, then I suggest that you do a straight line quilting, just straight. And if you're gonna do that, you can use a walking foot. I have this little kit that's Eversewn quilting foot accessories. I'm going to try to keep my stuff in it, which looks like everything's gone. So now I'm going to use it's also called a darning foot, but it's a free motion quilting foot. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, right? Yeah. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Okay. We'll get this done. We can do it. Yes, we can. And if we can't, we will try again until we can. Okay. Now that my feed dogs are down, my free motion foot is on there. That thing looks upside down. I've got an extra bobbin, but it's not going to take a lot with this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my thread. And I'm looking at this white, and I'm looking at this, it's kind of a taupey gray. It's 100% cotton. It's not polyester. It's gray tan. Looks like gray tan. It's Missouri Star MS3691374. It looks like it's gray tan because I want something that sort of blends, that's not so stark as this white on this. So pick, if you want something that stands out, because I thought about using green or red, but the red that I have is so bright and I don't want that. So I'm gonna go with this taupe. Now remember, your bobbin is going to show on the back. So consider You can have a different bobbin color on the back if you want a different bobbin color, but at least make sure if you're using polyester, it's polyester. If you're using cotton, it's cotton. Okay, so I've got my free motion quilting foot on there. I'm gonna go ahead and change out my bobbin because it's low. And this one matches that. I already had it in there. Since this machine is so ornery on the tension, I gotta practice with some of my ugly fabric. It might have come out of a layer cake and I didn't like this particular layer cake. And I got a piece of scrap batting. And it's the same consistency as the batting that I have in here. It's the same consistency. So everything other than this woven fabric, it's pretty much the same consistency. So I'm going to put it under there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my needle in and bring it back up, and it's going to pull up your bobbin thread, because you want, when you start, you want it on the top so that you can hold it so don't create ugly nasty balls of thread underneath, and then you got to deal with that. So pull it up, and then you can take like a little purple thing and just pull up your bobbin thread if possible. It didn't work. Let's try it again. So I'm turning the wheel to me. I'm going down and I'm gonna pull this and try to bring up that bobbin thread. Oh, I had it and I lost it. And this is another thing that's awesome to learn, is pulling up, yay, there it is. And I think I had some tweezers because I'm gonna lose it. Maybe not. Okay. Ow. Ow. Yep. Alright, so there's my bobbin thread. Okay, so I've got my top and my bottom thread. And I'm going to pull it over till I see where that bobbin thread's coming up, and I'm going to turn the wheel to me. You're not supposed to turn your wheel back. I don't know why, timing something. And put your needle in where you see that bobbin thread coming up. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm not sure what this tension setting's on. Right now it's on 5, but I'm fixing to do a test and see how it works. Oh. Oh my God. So when you first start, make sure, on my machine I have to put it to a straight stitch. So I'm just holding it on both sides, and I'm just moving it to trying to stay the same consistency, and I'm going slow because this isn't my brother, and I'm just doing this because I'm testing out my tension settings. Most of the time you don't have to worry about that, but on this machine you do. And I'm not the best quilter, but I'm gonna quilt this. So you're just holding on and trying to move it at the same consistency and speed, which sometimes when you go faster, it's easier. I can't go too fast on this because my table bounces too bad. So I'm just testing it out. Okay. I forgot to tell you, when you first start, you want to just do up and down, up and down, up and down in the same spot. It gives you locking stitches. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this out. And I'm turning it around to see, and see, I've got a ton of eyelashes. I don't know if you can see this. I've got a ton of eyelashes, so I know my tension is not right. Or it's either gonna be my tension, or it's gonna be how fast I'm going as compared to my hand motion. But the tension is not looking good. So I'm moving my tension up. I'm going up to 8. Let me read my book and let me see. You can always consult your book to see on your tension. It will tell you in your book your tension settings. In your book, it tells you, refer to your manual. If you don't have one, just download it off the internet. It tells you, according to your stitches, which way you should go. So my bottom stitches are god-awful. So my tension is too loose for a straight stitch. Show and turn the, yep, I have to go up really high on this one. It's crazy, but I have to go up super high. So I'm trying now. I was on a 5. I'm going to an 8. All right, so down, same thing. Or it could be that my pressure foot went down. Oh my God. Watch to learn what you're not supposed to do. Let me go back down. Let me go back down. I'm gonna go back down to 5. And I'm gonna try now that my oh, that's way better. Should I start this over? All right, let's look at the back. I have a cutter. I just don't want to use it. Oh, nope. We still got, no, not yet. I'm going back up to, I'm gonna go up to a 7. This is why you want to practice before you start on your quilt. All right, so I'm pressing down, put my needle down, my needle up. I'm pulling up that bobbin thread. And then I'm just gonna needle down, needle up in the same place about 2 times, 3 times, whatever. That locks your stitches, because I forgot to tell you that. Okay, so now let's try. Something happened. It didn't sound right. The best thing to do is just play around with your machine till you can, and when you go to stop, do up and down a few times, or just do it and it makes locking stitches. So let me, okay, now we're looking better. That's a lot better, but I'm gonna have to slow down just a tad, but that's looking a lot better. I'm gonna go up to 8. I'm almost out of red. Okay, put it down. I'll do top stitch, needle down, needle up, pull up your bobbin thread. All right, needle up, needle down. I got my locks, my stitches locked. I'm holding on to that. This is down right. Don't. Okay. And you can stop and move them stitches out of the way, because if you don't, they get annoying. I'm not an expert at this. I'm just trying to show you what I have to go through to free motion quilt on this machine. All right, let me check now. Perfect. I am up to, and when you do loop-de-loops, you'll know if your tension's wrong. Because now my stitches are not, if you can see the difference. If you look at these, you can see how it's pulled up and it don't look right. I fixed my tension and now it's looking good. So you gotta check on the bottom and the top to make sure your tension's right. And if you need to, refer to your manual and it'll tell you what to do. So now what I'm gonna do to remember and not have to go through this again is I'm gonna change this to 8. Okay. Now that I got my stuff set, we're gonna take this, and all I'm gonna do is like little loop-de-loops. I'm not gonna do nothing fancy. I'm gonna just loop-de-loo it, do whatever I feel like doing. If you're doing circles though, if you're doing loops, just don't do them fast and then your foot pedal not go as fast. If y'all need like intense quilting, I would suggest checking out Angela Walters. She's got books, and I always start over here because I don't want to start right here. So I've got my thread, needle down, needle up. I'm pulling up my bobbin thread. I'm going to hold it back here. I'm going to go up and down a couple times just to lock in the stitches. I don't really need to, it's on the side. But I've got to, there we go. Now I'm going to just do some on the side and then I'm going to go in. Make sure you're down. Make sure your needle down button is pressed down. Alright, so now I'm going to hold on to this with both hands. And here we go. Don't be scared to stop and reposition. I don't never know what I'm going to do. But I'm feeling like right now this might be a good idea. This thing skips stitches so bad. I'm going to just go around. I'm not even sure why I'm doing this. And when it does that, either that bobbin's floating around. Let me check my stitches in the back. Okay, my stitches in the back's looking good. You see how you can see your thread in the back, so make sure you like your colored thread. Don't be scared to stop. Just if you stop, start back in the same place. Hands on each side. If only I can remember to do that. You know, usually what's best is to think of, go ahead and think of what you want to do. There's so many better quilters out there as far as free motion that, you know, tell you to, this actually doesn't do bad for this little machine, that instructs you better on if you don't know how to free motion. Like I said, I'm not the best at this. I'm just not going to send this to a long armor. And the more you do it, I just broke my thread. That's another reason why polyester, it don't do this. And if you are just now learning, I'm telling you, I really highly suggest to start using polyester, because this cotton does that so bad. I don't know if it might be my needle, because I haven't changed it, but I don't know. I'm gonna blame it on the thread because polyester is easier. Okay, so basically all I did was I just did a going around like this all the way around. I haven't done nothing in the middle yet. Did some little loops on the side. My forte is not free motion quilting, but we're gonna have fun because this is what this is all about. So I stopped over here, so I want to go back to where I stopped. Okay, so I'm gonna put my, that's my stop start button. Let's see, I got all kind of thread coming out now. That just jammed up my bobbin thread. Bad. So it's stuck back there. Okay, I got it. Well, that just caused a whole lot of this. Yay! Problems of free motion quilting. It's awesome. Will not stop me. I will just keep trying. We're gonna try and try again. Okay. Okay. Here we go. All right, it didn't, it must have broke before it did a whole bunch. This is where it broke. It's doing that. I could tie that, but I'm not. I'm just gonna go back in it and it'll lock them stitches. I'm just gonna stitch over it. I don't know, it might have did it right here. Yeah, it did. Okay, so we're good. So I'm gonna go right back where I ended off, and that thread broke. Let's see. And I'm gonna push my needle down, push it up, grab my bobbin thread. Make sure my foot's down and go up, down, up, down. Okay. Now I'm gonna clip these. Okay, so now I'm back where I started on that. So now I'm gonna just basically loop-de-loop this. I could have used gold because the background is gold. Those little gold pins. I should have used gold. Thought would have been a good idea. But here we go. All right, so I'm holding both sides. Broke again. Okay, since my thread keeps breaking, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change out my needle. Turn your machines off when you're doing this stuff. Don't, just turn your machines off. I don't want you blaming me if the needle goes in your finger. Alright, I'm taking out my needle. I'm putting it in my little needle thing. And I will dispose of it. I have a Tylenol bottle over there that I put my needles in. So I'm going to switch to my Superior Top Stitch 9014. And I'm going to see if that helps. This is my official needles. I'm going to see if that stops it from breaking. You really have to have like a, when you're learning free motion, you got to have patience. Like I said, I can do it. If you're just learning, probably just start straight lining, stitching the ditch with a walking foot till you get used to it. Or don't. Do whatever you want. Okay. I can feel, I also do this, I feel a little pull on that. And I like my top thread to also, and I do this wrong too, don't pull it up like that. I like to feel a little, like the same kind of pull from the top and the bottom. I don't know why. It makes me think it's somewhat better. We shall try again. Where did we end off? We ended up back here. Let's see if that needle, changing that needle helps. We ended up right here, so I'm going to go right back here, put my thing down. I'm going to try to even up where I left off. Okay. I'm going to bring up my bobbin thread. There it is. Alright. Now I'm going to needle down and then try to get the same hole. Okay? Up. Okay. Now I'm going to hold on to these and we're going to try to go again. But I did notice that changing that needle sure has helped. We're just here to have fun. Just here to have fun. What does Jenny say? It looks good from a galloping horse. Ah, that's hilarious. Well, if it looks good from a galloping horse, I'm okay with that. Another problem I'm having is I don't have my Supreme slider on here. I think it's in there with my it's in there with my other machine. It's a thing that you put on your machine. It's called a Supreme slider, and it makes it easier. And I don't have on any quilting gloves, but I have some. So let's see if that will help. But changing that needle sure did help my threads from breaking. So that's that Superior Top Stitch 9014 needle. Let's try this. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Uh-oh, my tension looks funny on the top. There is a guy, his name is Andrea Banks. I've watched him quilt and it's almost like his quilting is growed. Like he was first started on a PQ 1500 SL Brother and now he's gotten better machines, and he started out just doing it. And they were okay, but now that he's done it so much because he just keeps doing it, they look really good. And I think it's Andre Banks. You should check out his, I like watching him. I'll just sit there and watch him quilt. And doing little projects like this gives you a chance to practice without having a big bulky quilt. So that's always good too. Good thing this thing's going on a wall. This is very tiring. This little quilt is gonna be so fugly ugly. Snuggly ugly, snuggly fugly, I don't know. So it's not beautiful, but I did it. Till there. And it's not beautiful, but I did it. And what actually, once you start going, you know, you start going and you kind of get in a little rhythm and you start getting better. And like I said, the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you'll get. So it's just pretty much not even pretty loops, but I did it. And now we're gonna put the binding on. Time to trim it up and then we'll bind it. I'm gonna do something. This is that squaring tool I got from, well, it's a square, it's flimsy, but from Temu, and I'm gonna try it and see. I want to square this corner. Which I'm sure you can just do this with a regular square. Well, that did pretty good. I like that. Now I'm gonna just take it and go down the side with it. It looks like it's about an inch away from that first thing right there. So I'm gonna go with that. So we're gonna do an inch away from the first block. Those blocks aren't exactly straight, but we're going to do it right here. Okay, now all we got to do is bind it. And this is not straight, but I did it and it's perfect practice. Oh, that's looking super cute. even though it's not perfect. I bet you wash this thing, you can't tell how bad it's quilted. That's the thing about quilting, you wash it, you can't really tell. Alright, so I already got my strips. All I have to do, look how cute that's going to be. And we're done. I have put the binding on. And I think that is just super cute. I'm loving this polka dot binding. Not the quilting so much, but it's okay because like I said, we did it. And that's all that matters. So let's see the back. More practice. Practice makes perfect. And see how that gray's not. If it was white, it would have been really bad. But it'll be okay. Because practice makes perfect. And the binding's on and it's ready to go on the wall. Well, this was super fun. Thanks for hanging out with me and learning as we go. Or some of you may already know, and I'm the learning as you go. And it's been great. Y'all have a great night. See you soon. Bye.